A sewage processing issue is holding up the completion of a multi-million-dollar upgrade to the popular entertainment area known as the Strip on South Frigid Bay Beach. The redevelopment of the Strip is an attempt to modernize facilities, improve aesthetics, and stimulate more economic activity. It is a project partially funded by the Caribbean Development Bank and has seaside and landside components to the project. However, the sewage matter appears to be the biggest headache in the redevelopment project. Authorities now are looking at two possible solutions in dealing with the sewage matter. Minister of Tourism Lindsey Grant said a decision is close.
We are still in the process of working out what exactly we are going to do with the matter for the sewage at the Strip. We were between the St. Kitts, the St. Kitts Marriott in terms of using their facility, which is underutilized, or engaging persons to build our own sewage system at the Frigid Bay Strip. Hopefully, we will have that advice within the next couple of days, and then we will determine what we can do. The other things to be completed at the Strip would be the grasscrete, which we intended to do, the boardwalk, the sewage system, and then the exit and the entrance facilities. And we are hoping that once we determine all of these, we will have the work completed within another 6 months. So hopefully the area of the Strip will be completed possibly by the second half of 2021.
It is expected that over 8,000 cubic meters of sand will be pumped onto the beach to make it wider and more pleasant for beachgoers. Glenn Barth, Skn Newsline.
The Caribbean will not benefit much from a Joe Biden presidency, says political analyst Peter Wickham. Speaking to Skn Newsline after the swearing-in of President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris on Wednesday, Mr. Wickham said the global community, of which the Caribbean is a part, will see some normalcy in U.S. affairs, but the region on a whole may not see any direct benefits.
I don't think that the significance for the Caribbean is anything major. I think that there's a significance for the world in that there's a return of stability, predictability to the White House. President Biden has already indicated that he is rejoining the Paris Accord. And I think that sends a very strong signal regarding how he's going to deal with the world this part going forward. And I think that we're part of it. The other thing that was significant is that he's also sent a signal that he's going to establish a comprehensive immigration policy. Of course, many of the Caribbean nationals, our brothers and sisters that live in the United States, have those types of challenges. And I think that they may benefit from some clarity and there's certainly a bit of humanity where that's concerned. But outside of that, I don't really believe that there's a whole lot else in it for the Caribbean, but I do believe that the global community breathes a sigh of relief. You know, it's one of these ongoing horror stories, and you wonder, is he gone? Is he gone yet? And I think that today, you know, we're all breathing a sigh of relief that President Trump is gone, and that we have a predictable, slightly more normal presidency going forward to deal with the kind of challenges that are being faced.
And for Caribbean nationals living in the U.S. who believe that the presence of Vice President Kamala Harris, who has Jamaican heritage, may impact immigration policies in their favor, think again. Mr. Wickham believes this will have no bearing on whatever decision is taken as it relates to immigration.
In the final analysis, Kamala Harris is first and foremost an American. Both her parents were naturalized Americans. And she's an American, and she has served at various levels in the United States government over time. So I don't believe there's any lingering bias on her part for people of this region. I mean, if you look at the former President Obama, he was African. And his posture or attitude towards African countries is no different during the course of his presidency. So I think that is a nice sentimental feeling that we get, and we're happy for her, certainly as a woman of color, and she's made history and all that. But I expect that going forward, first and foremost, her desire would be to pursue the interests of the United States of America, and where there's a level of cohesion, then, you know, that might work. What we can expect is that she may very well visit the region and probably Jamaica at some point in time in her vice presidency. And I think that would be good because it would focus attention on the region in an important way. So we could benefit from that.
The political analyst did, however, note that the president would have his hands full in repairing race relations in the U.S.
I mean, they have a huge task on their hands to deal with issues of race relations. I mean, they have a lot of repairing to do. I believe they're well placed. America is essentially this last few years exposed the extent of the far right wing in the United States of America, and I think that they now have to go through the job of trying to repair that. They're well placed in that Biden has almost a rainbow coalition in terms of his cabinet. So he has a mixture of races. He has a mixture of sexual orientations. He has a mixture of male and females, gender relations. So there's a good balance. And I think if any cabinet or team can deal with race relations.
President Joe Biden became the 46th president of the United States after being sworn in a low-keyed inauguration ceremony in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Andre Huey, Skn Newsline.
The construction of a Ritz Carlton resort on South Friars Bay is still being negotiated, said Minister of Tourism Lindsey Grant. According to Minister Grant, he has been in frequent contact with the developers, although the pace of discussion had been reduced because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Grant said discussions with the developers had been weekly, and he is hoping for important and positive decisions soon.
We have been engaged with them for a very long time. In fact, I engage with them every week. In fact, I updated the cabinet this week on the matter with respect to the Ritz, and that those negotiations and discussions are ongoing. You will appreciate that the Ritz Carlton is a huge project. It's a project that is destined to be over some $200 million US. And so it's taking time. Bearing in mind also that because of the pandemic, things have slowed. But I am advised that very shortly we will be able to be in a position to come to the country and give some further details on that. So with respect to the Ritz Carlton, the matter is not closed. We are still actively pursuing that matter.
The budget was first announced during the first term of the Team Unity government, but it involved the contentious removal of several locally owned beachfront restaurants. Glenn Barrett, Skn Newsline.
The Emergence and Affirmation Summit, a motivational summit that will inspire you to greatness, presented by Vikish Pickering of Vaccination, Sunday, January 31st at 3 p.m. at the Kuna Caribbean Conference Center. All attendees will receive affirmations and exercises for the next month that ends with a follow-up. Tickets $100 US. Dress code fierce and fabulous. For more information, call 765-6798 or visit www.vcreation-inspire.com. It's the Emergence and Affirmation Summit, January 31st at 3 p.m. at the Kuna Caribbean Conference Center. Come and unleash with Vikish.
I feel good.
Come to Vibes Beach Bar and Grill at the Frigid Bay Strip, your place for the best selection of local dishes. Join us for lunch. Mahi-mahi, barbecue ribs, fresh caught snapper, salmon, lobster, and our world-famous Vibes wings at economically sound prices. Dinner is served from the deck or the golden sands of the Frigid Bay Beach. Join us for birthdays, business meetings, or just for fun in a family-friendly environment. Open daily from 11 a.m. Vibes Beach Bar and Grill. Great food, hospitality, entertainment, and good vibes. Call 465-8423 for reservations and inquiries.
I feel good.
Skillex Interactive Voice Response System, a new 24-hour automated call-in service. Access it now at 465-2000 to report faults, receive bill balances, and for the first time ever, you can now make bill payments over the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Access it now by calling 465-2000.
Carbana on Liverpool Row is your anything you want store in St. Kitts. They have a wide variety of just about everything. Ladies and men's clothing, shoes, children's clothing, toys, housewares of all kinds, small appliances like clothes heaters, microwaves, electric kettles and more, cosmetics, perfumes, cosmetic jewelry and much, much more. Their prices are unbeatable and customer service is second to none. Shop at Carbana on Liverpool Row Bastair. Call 465-1745. At Carbana, find value supplies at great prices.
Up first this evening, $3 billion. This is what it will cost the government to roll out phase 1 of the national COVID-19 vaccination program. The document outlining how the funds will be used was tabled in Parliament today. But with just 16% of the population set to benefit in the first phase of the program, the opposition continues to make a case for more Jamaicans to be immunized.
The Ministry of Health calls it the National COVID-19 Deployment and Vaccination Interim Plan 2021. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the foundation is being laid ahead of the April rollout of the immunizations. In addition to the National Vaccine Commission, which will provide technical oversight, a National Coordinating Committee has also been established. The country is expected to receive over 900,000 doses of the vaccine through the COVAX facility. The first batch will be delivered on April 21, the second July 21, and the third December 21. At the end of the first phase of the program, it is hoped that over 400,000 persons, or 16% of the population, will be vaccinated. But for the opposition, this is not good enough.
I think that is unsatisfactory. We must aim significantly higher than that. Jamaica, in my opinion, should do its utmost to source sufficient doses to immunize our population this year at a level that will achieve herd immunity.
We are faced with a very practical scenario, and that is that you can't access what is not available. And that is the real challenge that we face, and I say this respectfully. I mean, it's one thing to say we need to achieve 60% to get to herd immunity. But if the supplies are just not there, they're just not there.
Select health centers in each parish will be designated vaccination sites. Sites will also be established at the University Hospital of the West Indies, the National Chest Hospital, and the Cornwall Regional Hospital, among others, for frontline workers. The minister says the first phase of the program will cost the government $3 billion. $81 million has been earmarked for a consultancy firm to develop and implement a communication plan, $20 million for vaccination training, $240 million for the hiring of temporary staff, and $37.5 million for overtime and other benefits. Phase 2 of the program will begin in 2022. According to Dr. Tufton, 16% of the population will be targeted.
This phase may see the vaccine becoming a part of routine immunization schedules and procurements will be absorbed into the regular budget for immunization. This will have to be expanded based on demand and availability of funds. So there is still some amount of flexibility which has to be exercised based on what we learn as we go along.
Persons will require 2 doses of the vaccine. The Ministry of Health says mechanisms have been put in place to remind patients about the second doses.
The Camille Henry Memorial School on Tuesday, January 19th, was seemingly functioning normally as News Force paid a visit to the school following calls to our news desk of possible exposure of COVID-19 at the physical plant. A missive sent to parents and guardians on Monday, January 18th reads, quote, We have been made aware that we have 2 confirmed positive cases of coronavirus COVID-19 in this homeroom. It goes on. We would like to recommend your child stays at home from 19th January 2021. Your child is expected to return to school 28th January 2021. Unquote.
It is always with the view of taking precautionary measures to safeguard our students, our teachers, and all of the other stakeholders. This is why the decision was made. We want to remind the general public, as we'll be doing so today, that we are guided by the Department of Health, reference contact tracing, reference the management and the effective and efficient management of any case.
Some quarters of society have expressed reservation about the possible intermingling at school plants with shared spaces and common areas that include, but are not limited to, cafeterias, teachers' lounges, and bathrooms. Chief Education Officer Fiona Philip-Meyer was asked to elaborate on the decision to halt instruction in the single homeroom rather than closing the entire school plant.
We are guided by the Department of Health as per the national protocols. You would note that other examples of business places, of institutions of learning, of church situations, it is the general protocol. We are guided by them. So the decision is not only that of health, but also in collaboration with education.
Philip-Meyer also provided an update on the closure of the Babono Secondary School, which suffered a 3-day shutdown due to some level of exposure to the virus. She is calling on faculty and staff to remain prudent in following the established protocols in and out of the school plant.
Well, we need our adults to be responsible. We need in particular the adults in the room to continue to be responsible. Our parents, our teachers, our support staff, everybody who has had, and we know that our adults have had more freedom, so to speak, in terms of their interaction, in terms of their engagements. And we understood from the Department of Health very early on that because of the social gatherings happening throughout the festive season, there would be management of those cases.
Amid a drastic rise in COVID-19 cases, the Ministry of Education followed through with its plans for the reopening of in-person classroom instruction. The St. Lucia Teachers Union and the National Student Council have called for a re-evaluation of the decision. Philip-Meyer was asked whether the Ministry of Education has gone back to the drawing board in the wake of over 200 COVID-19 cases in the past week alone. However, she declined public comment, stating that the Education Department will continue to engage various stakeholders in a private forum. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Joe Biden was sworn in Wednesday as the nation's 46th president. He took the oath of office a few minutes before 12 noon Eastern Time, following the swearing in of Vice President Kamala Harris, the first woman, Black, and Asian American to hold that post. In his inaugural address, President Biden touched on the multiple crises America faces: the coronavirus pandemic, job losses, climate change, racial injustice, and political extremism and violence. He said the solutions for those problems could only be found through unity.
We must end this uncivil war that pits red against blue, rural versus urban, conservative versus liberal. We can do this if we open our souls instead of hardening our hearts, if we show a little tolerance and humility, and if we're willing to stand in the other person's shoes, as my mom would say, just for a moment, stand in their shoes, and we can still disagree. My fellow Americans, in the work ahead of us, we're going to need each other. We need all our strength to persevere through this dark winter.
Biden's optimism and call for unity stood in stark contrast with the words of his predecessor, former President Trump, 4 years ago, in which he decried American carnage. In a break with tradition, Trump did not attend Biden's swearing in and departed Washington for his Florida estate earlier in the day. Biden concluded his address saying he will work to write an American story of hope, not fear, light, not darkness, decency and dignity, love and healing. Brian Naylor, NPR News.
In his final hours in office, President Trump issuing a flurry of late-night pardons and commutations, including one for his former chief strategist Steve Bannon, who helped Trump win the White House in 2016. Last year, Bannon pled guilty to charges he defrauded Trump supporters who donated millions to an online campaign called We Build the Wall. Bannon among those accused of stoking the flames ahead of the Capitol riots, saying on his podcast the day before the attack, "All hell will break loose tomorrow. All I can say is strap in." President Trump also pardoning rappers Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, who were prosecuted on federal weapons offenses, and former Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick, who was serving a 28-year prison term on corruption charges. Not on the list, Rudy Giuliani, Julian Assange, and Edward Snowden, or any members of the president's family, including President Trump himself. The outgoing president, not seen publicly in more than a week, releasing a video farewell address.
I took on the tough battles, the hardest fights, the most difficult choices, because that's what you elected me to do.
Arguing the movement he started is only beginning, the president who's yet to congratulate President-elect Biden, never once mentioning him by name, offering these words for his successor.
We inaugurate a new administration and pray for its success in keeping America safe and prosperous.
President Trump also condemning this month's Capitol insurrection by his supporters, without acknowledging he's been accused of inciting it.
Political violence is an attack on everything we cherish as Americans. It can never be tolerated.
Ahead of the president's impeachment trial expected to begin within days, the Senate's top Republican Mitch McConnell, who says he hasn't ruled out voting to convict President Trump, unequivocally denouncing him for his rhetoric before the riots.
The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
President Trump skipping time-honored transfer of power traditions like welcoming the incoming president and first lady. Mr. Trump is instead eyeing a celebration of himself, departing the White House for the last time this morning, hours before Biden is sworn in, choreographing his send-off at Joint Base Andrews. The president said to have requested a red carpet, a color guard, even a 21-gun salute. But many top Republicans will not be there, including Vice President Mike Pence, who, unlike the president, will attend Biden's inauguration at the Capitol. A White House official telling NBC News it was not logistically possible for Vice President Pence to go to both. And just to pull back the curtain a little bit from inside the White House right now, cleaning crews are already scrubbing offices for the arrival of Joe Biden's team today. Some aides leaving behind notes for incoming staffers. But one aide late yesterday told me, despite the urging of advisors and allies, it was unlikely that President Trump would leave a note behind for President-elect Biden. Hoda?
All right, Peter Alexander for us at the White House. Peter.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
It's the new and improved Skn Newsline Android mobile app. With the Skn Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the Skn Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search Skn Newsline, and download the app today. The Skn Newsline mobile app. News on the go. For the finest in pastries and baked products, your only choice has to be Bryden's Bakery, located on Main Street, New Road, St. Peters. They offer the best in breads, cakes, cheesecakes, cupcakes, cookies, and much more. Visit their cafe and savor breakfast sandwiches, coffee, espresso, and ice cream. Bryden's Bakery also specializes in a variety of healthy breads, cakes, cookies, pies, and pastries for all your special events. Call 667-1505. Opening hours 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays for Ice Cream Sundays. Extended opening hours during the Christmas season. Bryden's Bakery, simply the best.
Banners, commercial signs, decal printing, canvas print, license plates, posters. We at Multigraphics are dedicated to providing quality products and service to our customers. Our team takes pride in the craftsmanship and is passionate about its work. Every job, large or small, is important. Most of our customers come to us through referrals. That's because our number one priority is service. We serve a wide variety of customers, such as restaurants, retail stores, manufacturers, trucking companies, and many more. Our capabilities include design, production, and installation. How can we help? We are located at Bird Rock at the Woods Right compound. Call us at 869-763-1511 or 784-491-7599. Multigraphics.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.